Social Security benefits. Will it happen once again? What am I talking about? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Let's get into it and discuss it right away. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video as I'm back each and every day in these short videos to help you out in any way that I can. I do hours and hours of research each and every day. I compile all the information and deliver it in these short videos because I get it. Right now is very confusing, it's difficult, and the struggle is very much real, and I want to do whatever I can to help out anybody in this community. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to do that, but I am very much committed to everybody right here in the community and very dedicated to helping you out because it is a tough time out there right now, and I bring you the honest, accurate, reliable, and transparent information every single day to help you out in any way I can. So, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and please feel free to share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends, family, and social media. Ask them to come over, check out some videos, and of course, subscribe. Thank you once again. Let's get into it and talk about what am I talking about here regarding Social Security benefits. So a couple days ago, I brought to you a video talking about this report released out of the Social Security Administration discussing the solvency of the program. In other words, how long can they continue to pay benefits for before the program is insolvent? In other words, the trust fund is completely depleted and the only money they can start sending out on a monthly basis to their beneficiaries is based on payroll taxes. In other words, what they are receiving, what they're bringing in from payroll taxes, no longer drawing out of the trust fund, if that makes sense. I talked about that in my video just the other day. I'm not going to get into all the details there, but I wanted to give you just a quick glimpse as to what I'm talking about regarding solvency and insolvency with this program. Now, here's the thing. In that report, they said that they would have that the program would potentially be insolvent by 2033, which is actually 1 year sooner than what they were originally projecting just a short time ago at 2034. Now, this is still about 12 years out. However, based on history, we can look back into the research that I've done and the information that I found, and we can kind of deduct from that and kind of anticipate what is likely to happen. Probably, unfortunately, once again. Now, again, I'm not here to instill fear in anybody or anything like that. I'm just letting you know. I want to share with you the information that I'm finding. And by the way, this is so far out into the future. It's about 12 years from now as it currently stands. So it's not going to happen like next week or anything like that. Nothing to worry about at this time. We have a lot of time, even though they need to get something done right away, because we all know that it takes a very long time to make these amendments and reform the programs and do everything else like that. It takes time. So they should probably start working on it sooner than later. Realistically, they've got to get something done here, right? Anyway, what I wanted to share with you, because I thought this was very interesting and certainly something that many of you would probably find beneficial to know this, but back in 1983, in fact, April of 1983, do you want to take a guess what happened then? By the way, that was almost 40 years ago, just to put it in perspective. Almost 40 years ago. According to my research, this is what happened, and it was the last time it happened nearly 40 years ago, April 1983. That is when the last set of amendments was passed to continue to keep the program solvent. And guess what? So they were facing essentially the same issue, the same situation that we're dealing with right now, as in the program may be insolvent in a matter of about 12 years. Well, they were apparently dealing with the same situation back in 1983. And just 3 short months before the program became completely insolvent, in other words, they didn't have any money left other than that money that was being collected through payroll taxes. Now, 3 months before the program was insolvent, they passed the amendments allowing the program to continue into the future being solvent 3 months prior to insolvency. So, wow, they literally waited until the last minute to actually get these amendments passed to save the program and make sure that they were still allowed to pay out 100% of benefits for all of their beneficiaries. Now, at that time, 1983, how many beneficiaries did they really have? Probably not that many. Maybe a few million. I'm not even sure. Honestly, I have no clue how many beneficiaries at the time. But realistically, here right now, at this time in 2021, there are about over 70 million beneficiaries that draw on Social Security each and every month. So I'm guessing it probably wasn't 70 million beneficiaries back then, but it was probably at least a few million. But here's the thing. They're dealing with the exact same situation once again. And as we know, because we've witnessed this so many times over the last year and a half now, Congress continues to wait as long as they possibly can to get just about anything done, right? They love dragging their feet. They love pushing out the timelines. They love really pressuring the clock on pretty much anything. And a lot of times, they're very much delayed on a lot of things that we've been seeing them do lately, right? For example, I mean, how many times did we see the voting on these stimulus packages and the infrastructure package that we've talked about lately? How many times have we seen them delay the voting on those? I mean, it's all good to go now. I mean, things are done for the most part with the infrastructure anyway. But how many times have we seen them push out the voting on that infrastructure package? It was supposed to be voted on like day after day after day, week after week. And all of a sudden I was like coming back and it's like, okay, today's the day. And then it was like, wait, just kidding. It's supposed to be tomorrow. And then tomorrow was like, oh, just kidding. It's supposed to be next week now. So my point is, we've seen so many delays. Even with setting up the next federal budget, we saw last year, in 2020, they continue to push that thing out. In fact, they had to continue passing stopgap bills to continue to keep the government funded before they were actually facing a government shutdown because they couldn't come together on an agreement. So it's kind of interesting to see this, that back in 1983, in April of 1983, 3 months before the program, Social Security was officially insolvent. In other words, they wouldn't have been able to pay out the benefits for their beneficiaries. They finally came together with an agreement to push through some amendments to make sure that the program remained solvent. So, wow. So in my video just the other day, I laid it out and said, hey, according to this report, it looks like the program could be insolvent starting in 2033 at the current rate that things are going right now. But of course, things could change and that could either be extended and go out a little further, or it could come in a few years at some point. But just remember, that is what the current report says as of right now. So they will still continue to pay out 100% of benefits going forward up until 2033 as it's currently projected. But, of course, that could be changing once again. So as you can see, there's nothing to really worry about at this time. If you're receiving any of these benefits, seriously, please, you have nothing, don't lose sleep over this tonight. There's no reason to over this specifically. It's many years out from now. But it's kind of interesting how in the 11th hour, back in the 80s, early 80s, they came together literally 3 months prior to. So even back then, 40 years ago, they're still doing this, as in waiting until the last minute to get things done. So, 40 years ago they did it, so who says in 12 years from now they wouldn't do the exact same thing? Well, it's probably going to happen once again, right? So either way, all of us know if you're receiving Social Security benefits, whether it's retirement, disability, survivors, even SSI, VA, and RRB, all of these programs which offer monthly payments to beneficiaries, we all know that these programs need some massive overhaul, right? We all know that these programs need some major reform to ultimately raise benefits, and we actually have seen many different proposals out there right now that want to raise these benefits to 100% of the federal poverty line, or in some instances, even 125% of the federal poverty line. So those are still out there floating around, but it's just a matter of time until we actually finally get some action on them, right? Finally get some action on these programs to raise those benefits up for all these beneficiaries. It just makes me wonder, at what point are these people going to realize that, maybe people need more than, $700, $800, maybe $900 or $1,000 each and every month to live on? That money's just not going anywhere these days, right? I think many of you watching this video and that just heard that, you probably agree, yeah, it's not going anywhere these days, right? You can't really get much for it anymore. Once you pay for your rent and your utilities, or your mortgage and your utilities, there is not much left to spend on the other basics of life. And even when you go out to spend that, it's like, whoa, I really can't get much for this money anymore, right? Yeah, it's kind of a sad situation. So they need to do some major work there in Congress, and hopefully they can get to it sooner than later, especially after they get this next stimulus package passed. They'll have an open table. They can start working on other things, and hopefully Social Security will be the next one up on the table, right? So either way, I wanted to lay this out there and let you know what I found, let you know what's going on. But either way, this is nothing to worry about at this time at all. I will continue watching everything very closely if anything changes. But as of right now, it looks like it's out about 12 years or so. So, Yeah. All right. Anyway, want to lay this out for you. Hope this helps you in some way. I just want to be here for you any way that I can. Lay out all this information in these videos as I find the information, as I do my research. So again, please make sure to subscribe down below. Share this video with your friends, family, social media. And of course, go back and check out any of the other 1,500 videos right here on the channel for you to enjoy, and I will continue to be here for you every single day going forward to help out in any way I can. Enjoy. Thank you so much for your support. Have a nice day, and of course, I will see you again later in the